What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a Chicago Bulls and Miami Heat injury update to provide for you guys, as every single game becomes a little bit more vital towards our season. A must-win game against the Miami Heat. At the end of the day, there are some injury concerns for the Bulls and especially for the Miami Heat heading into this game, a very crucial game for our season. But before I get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the injury concerns to the Bulls and the Miami Heat. Do you think this is a benefit towards one or the other team? And also your overall thoughts and opinions on how well we can play against Miami. Do you think we will win? The score prediction, stuff like that. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. Now, I've said for quite a few number of times, but it remains true today, this is a must-win game against the Miami Heat. I've been saying it since pretty much the entire March point, but obviously there's been a lot of downward spiral for the Chicago Bulls, and for this game specifically, just like the Clippers, just like a couple of games before that, it is a must-win game for the Chicago Bulls to ensure that we avoid the play-in tournament and we have the best possible chance of trying to compete in the NBA playoffs. This is a must-win game in all circumstances. The Raptors are still tied with us with our record, and a win like this could definitely help us take us over the edge. But we have to talk about the injuries, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start off with the Miami Heat. They have a couple of guys that have been seen as questionable to play against the Chicago Bulls. So the ones that come to mind is obviously Max Struss, Caleb Martin, and Gabe Vincent. Look, at the end of the day, Miami always find a way to get these hidden gem type of role players. These are all role players for the Miami Heat, and at the end of the day, they are not going to be the biggest, most impactful players. Guys like Jimmy and Bam are obviously the ones that are going to stand out that will probably be playing for the Miami Heat. But with all things being said, those role players have hurt us in the past 3 games, and I really remember Gabe Vincent almost hurting us every single time for the Chicago Bulls. But even Caleb Martin in the last game, I remember doing a lot of damage against us. So at the end of the day, it's a very difficult game for the Chicago Bulls, and the thing about Miami is that they have very good depth. So even if those guys are out, there will be other guys ready to step in, and it almost feels like it's like they don't have losses. It's almost like that they're still going to be as good as they were when those guys were there. They have a lot of rotational pieces. They have a lot of guys that can replace other guys. And also, they just have a good coaching setup. So, all that being said, it's a very tough game against Miami, no matter who or is what is in the lineup when we face them. So, let's just hope that the Chicago Bulls are up for this challenge. Let's hope our confidence is going to be there when we verse the Miami Heat. And just in the overall grand scheme of things, let's hope we can walk away with the win. But the Bulls have some injury news of their own. Now, we don't have as much of an injury issue compared to what Miami will be going through in this game against the Chicago Bulls. Again, questionable is 50-50, so there's a potential that all of these guys can play, but there's also a potential that none of these guys can play. And maybe it's just one of them can play, 2 of them can't, stuff like that. You get it. For the Chicago Bulls, we have to talk about Zach LaVine. Now, Zach LaVine is probable to play against the Miami Heat. If you saw in the last game against the Los Angeles Clippers, you could see Zach LaVine trying to stretch out that knee, trying to get the most out of it in the ending stretches of the Los Angeles Clippers game, which probably brings to mind that there is just a bit of pain that Zach LaVine is going through at the moment. Now, I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things. 75% probable is what probable means in terms of NBA terms. So Zach LaVine will most likely play this game against the Miami Heat. But many people have been saying that Zach LaVine should sit out the rest of the season and just enter into the playoffs and try to get as healthy as possible. And what I have to say to that is I can definitely understand where people are coming from that, but we have to be very careful here. We're not 5 games out from the play-in tournament, ladies and gentlemen. We are 2 losses away from being in the play-in tournament. And of course, we have to rely on Cleveland losing as well, and they have a very hard schedule as well. It's not going to be easy for Cleveland to avoid the play-in, and that definitely gives us an advantage. But at the same token, to what extent do you see Zach LaVine resting this season to make sure that we're not in the play-in? Do you want to take that risk? Because if you take that risk, you're potentially risking not only being in the play-in, but potentially falling out of the play-in tournament by losing in the play-in as well. So that's a really difficult stretch to, I guess, comprehend. And even if we don't, we only make our playoff season even more harder. So what I have to say to that is, I really hope Zach LaVine can get as healthy as possible. He will have some days off after the regular season while those guys guys like Cleveland, if they're still in the play-in, will play those play-in games. He's going to have rest. He's going to have time to practice, time to recover, maybe potential rehabbing circumstances, who really knows. But Zach LaVine will get his time. In my eyes, I don't want to see anybody on this team really rest until it's absolutely positively certain that we get our position in the Eastern Conference, where we know that we can't change, we can't go below our position, and we can't go above our position. That's when I would like to see players rest. I'd like to see this whole team rest when we have that circumstance figured out. Last year for the Chicago Bulls, our last game was against the Milwaukee Bucks, and they were ready to play their full starting lineup against a really, really broken down Chicago Bulls team. But obviously things changed from that because they realized that Milwaukee could not go any higher or lower than third, I believe it was, in the Eastern Conference. So why risk your players when you're absolutely certain you can't change things, you can't predict, or you can't focus on trying to get higher or lower? So you rest your guys, you go with the bench guys, you go with the G League guys, and that's what I feel like the Chicago Bulls should be doing as well. We should keep on ensuring that we can at least sit 5th in the Eastern Conference until we're certain that we get that position. Then we can do those rests. Then we can send all the G League guys out to Minnesota, maybe even Boston if things go well, or Charlotte, or whoever the second last game is against. That's when I see us resting our guys. But as long as Zach LaVine is able to play, he's willing to play, and he's healthy enough to play, then I'd like to see Zach LaVine play. A little bit of a tangent there, ladies and gentlemen, but that's just my belief on the situation. If you agree or disagree, again, feel free to let me know. I don't think anybody is wrong or right on this situation. It's just sort of what you want to believe or what you want to see out of Zach LaVine in the future. And I guess that's just what it has to do with. If he's going to continue struggling like this, then maybe he will need a game's rest here or there. But if he's able to play and he's healthy enough to play, then I think he should play. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care.